Hi, my name is Flat Emerson, and I'm going to tell you how I got to be a star student in college for a whole week, even though I'm just 8.5 years old. It all started when I was mailed to South Carolina. The capital of South Carolina is Columbia, and this state is on the eastern seaboard. Lots of people like to come to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina because they think it will look like this, but it usually looks a lot more like this. So I'm really glad I went to Conway instead. It's right next to Myrtle Beach. It's a small city on the Waccamaw River, and it's very historic, with many older buildings. But I wanted to see the college, Coastal Carolina University. That's where my Aunt Rose works, and my Uncle Scott teaches there too. They call him a professor. He and my Aunt Rose live in Conway, where it snows all the time. No, just kidding. South Carolina is in the south, where it hardly ever snows. And I got to spend a whole week there with my aunt and my uncle and my Nana too. I had a lot of fun adventures as a star college student for a whole week. On Monday morning, Aunt Rose found me in her mailbox. When she asked me what I wanted to do for the week, I told her I wanted to see what college was like. I'm really looking forward to going to a university one day. So she took me to Coastal Carolina to meet 3 professors who agreed to let me visit in their classes. There was Dr. Arnold, my new writing teacher, Dr. Flotten, who teaches something called art history, and Dr. Ennis. He's a literature teacher. They call language arts literature in college. After I met the teachers, I went to Miss Laura's office. She signed me up as a special student. Then I met with Miss Sophie. She's also a college student, and she told me all about what it takes to be a good student at the university. After all of this, I was really tired and ready to go back home and have some fun with my aunt and uncle. They let me play Xbox and listen to music. It was a really great day. On Tuesday, I started my classes. We learned about painters and sculptors from long ago in Dr. Flotten's class. It was really interesting, and I made some friends who let me go to lunch with them. After lunch, I had a question for Dr. Flotten, so I went to his office and I talked to him. He was so nice. Then Uncle Scott took me back home, and we played in the backyard. But then he took me inside and told me his band was coming over to practice. Uncle Scott plays the ukulele and the guitar, too, and I love his music room. He's got all kinds of drums and keyboards and guitars in there, and he even lets me sing sometimes. Uncle Scott's band came over to practice. Mr. Steve plays the drums, Mr. Arnie sings, Mr. Dan plays the bass, and Mr. Joe plays the guitar. I watched them practice for a while, and then they let me help them sing a song.
Shouldn't come around here singing up at people like that. Anyway, what you gonna do about it? The doors are loaded. Out there, when it's loaded,
And that's how I became a rock star, too. Not just a star student. It was another great day. Wednesday started off a lot like Tuesday. I went to Dr. Arnold's writing class, and I learned about writing good paragraphs and essays. Then some new friends from the class took me to lunch with them. In the afternoon, I got to see my Aunt Rose get a big award. I was so proud of her, and she looked so pretty in her new dress. That night, we rested at home and watched some movies. On Thursday, I slept late because my class wasn't until the afternoon. Aunt Rose took the morning off with me, and we watched TV on the couch with her dog, Diana. In the afternoon, I went to Dr. Ennis's literature class. We learned all about a writer named William Shakespeare. He lived in England about 400 years ago. The students in his class were really nice. One of them even read to me, and I got to help too give their presentations to the class. After the class, Dr. Ennis said I had done a great job as a special student. I think I'll come back to Coastal Carolina as a real student one day. When I woke up on Friday, Aunt Rose had a big surprise for me. She said I'd been to enough classes, so she took me to see my Nana. She lives nearby, and she has a great swing set in her yard that I like to play on, and a sweet dog named Loki. After we played, we rested on the front porch, where she keeps her pretty flowers. Then she took me inside and played the piano for me. At the end of the day, Aunt Rose came to pick me up and take me to a college baseball game. It was really fun to watch, and my Uncle Scott told me all about baseball. I think our team won, but I'm not sure. I was having such a good time, I hardly noticed the score. Saturday was another big day. There was a festival on campus with balloons and slides and inflatables. I even got to meet a fireman and see a real fire engine. Then I saw my first college football game. It was so exciting, and I even got to see it up close. That game really looks dangerous. After the game, I met the mascot and one of the players. I can't believe how much fun I had. Sunday was my last day in town, but I wasn't sad because I spent it with my Nana on her birthday. We took her to lunch and gave her some presents. Then we drove to Myrtle Beach to the aquarium. There are some big, scary sharks at the aquarium, but most of the fish are small and beautiful. Just look at all these great pictures that Uncle Scott took. There are colorful tropical fish by the hundreds, and all sorts of interesting exhibits. You can see almost every kind of fish there, and even some things that aren't fish at all. You wouldn't believe all the great things you might see there. They even let the sharks swim right over your head. I sure was glad there was glass between me and the sharks. At the end of the tour, they even let you touch the stingrays, but Aunt Rose said that wasn't a good idea for a flat person like me. It really was a great day in South Carolina, and after all of that, I was ready for bed. After I woke up on Monday, it was back in the mailbox and off to Chattanooga, Tennessee to see my Uncle James, my Aunt Beth, and my new cousin Owen. I'm really looking forward to spending a week with them, but I'll miss South Carolina a little too. Bye, everybody.